You could feel the energy in the room as the Community Foundation of Broward and its supporters were gathering to celebrate the accomplishments of one of their own. Dara Levan releasing her riveting new book called It Could Be Worse, with a storyline sure to leave you wanting more.
I'm so happy today that we can have a small gathering of our fund holders and board members and donors to celebrate Dara Levan and the launch of her new book, It Could Be Worse. Dara is a terrific board member. She and her husband are longtime supporters of the Community Foundation and our community builders. So it's really special for us to gather our own family, the Community Foundation family, to hear a little bit from her about the experience of writing a book and to share a little bit of her favorite passages.
First at the mic, a former Community Foundation of Broward board member and the one who knows her best.
But my title today is Dara's husband. And I'm very proud to have that title, because I'm very proud of my wife. Well, this is Dara's debut novel. She's been a writer since the day I met her. There's been some lulls in between, some times where she was supporting me and the growth of our businesses and raising our kids and taking care of our family. This is now Dara's opportunity to shine and build her career and to make names for her and for us. I'm hoping to retire on It Could Be Worse. And last week, she got a Kirkus review. Don't ask me what that is, but I can tell you that it is the cream of the crop in the author community. And Dara got a very glowing Kirkus review. She's also a go-getter. Dara went to market with this book that she wrote and edited and wrote again and edited again and wrote again and edited again. And then she went to market, and I don't know if I have this exactly right, but she got 7 offers from publishers.
Wow.
And I'm proud of her.
So I could not be more thrilled to be here with Dara today to talk about It Could Be Worse. Dara, first and foremost, is a board member for the Community Foundation of Broward, of which I currently have the privilege of chairing. And when we learned about this fabulous opportunity to host what we believe is the first in the book tour, is really just wonderful, and we hope you will enjoy this as much as we expect you will.
First of all, everybody, thank you so much for taking the time to be here. I know life is so busy and it means a lot to me. This is quite surreal. So actually, Juliet, I've been really writing probably since I could speak, which was likely in utero, for those of you that know me. I'm not shy. But I used to make up stories and talk to my stuffed animals. I started reading absolutely voraciously by about probably age 8 or 9. Ramona Quimby was one of my first books I remembered vividly. Nancy Drew, I loved. I probably read every single book of hers at least 4 times. And so when I was a little girl, I knew I wanted to be a writer. I didn't know how that would look. And to your point, my grandmother was in a nursing home for Alzheimer's. And I remember I was 12 years old and seeing all these empty souls just sitting there. So I went to the activities director. He was the sweetest man. I'll never forget him. I said, can I write their stories? He had this little newsletter, and so I got published in this little newsletter and just listened to them speak, because they're walking history books.
I am the eternal optimist, so the title actually personally resonates with me. It could be worse. But here are what her peer authors are saying. Visceral and moving, It Could Be Worse is a tale of acceptance and awakening, but not necessarily forgiveness. That reminds us we can choose how our stories end. Andrew Watkins, New York Times bestselling author. The gorgeous prose and raw, unflinching narrative both heal and inspire. A stunning debut. Samantha Bailey, USA Today, a #1 international best-selling author. So now that I've primed you, I know you're really excited to hear about it.
And a lot of my author friends have shared this. It does not matter what you write. There will be somebody that says, I know this is about you, right? You could even be writing sci-fi or thriller. I mean, there's always one. So if you're out here, it is not about me. However, it is absolutely inspired by a lot of my emotional truths. But I see this as almost like a collage, a collective experience of a universal theme, which is unconditional love and wanting that and perhaps not getting it. And what also very much inspired it is my podcast. I have interviewed the most extraordinary guests, and the stories I've heard about trauma, about loss, and it's not all depressing. There's a lot of uplifting stories too. And in recent years, I've spoken to so many authors because that's my community, but we rarely talk about their book. I always say to them, I'm not a book promo, I have fellow podcasters who I love who do. We talk about the essence of the person. We talk about the extraordinary and the ordinary, because I really believe every soul has a story. And two specific conversations, interviews I had, are part of what inspired this. It started to sort of percolate in my brain. It starts as a kernel and it starts popcorn. And as a writer, all of a sudden it takes over your entire psyche where it's like an itch. And I just knew I had to dive into this topic of not just narcissism and breaking a cycle, but also what hides behind a mask. We all wear masks of some sort, right? And especially when things look so perfect, they're not usually that perfect. So drawing back the curtain.
Why the title? Why It Could Be Worse?
I love that question. The title came to me first. It could be worse is something that I heard a lot growing up that I always thought was a positive phrase. You're all nodding. Did a lot of you hear that? I don't know if it's generational. I don't know if it's just, a perspective. And I always thought that was great because really it could be, really, your best friend could have stage 1 cancer, but then your other best friend could be stage 4. Of course it could be worse. But as I dove deep into narcissism, and in lots of components of that are gaslighting, invalidating, triangulating, all these different facets of this, it's actually a disorder. And I realized It Could Be Worse is incredibly invalidating as well.
Has it drastically changed your relationship, you as a mom or you as a wife or a daughter, something, and you talked a lot about boundaries. Can you give an example of something you learned about narcissism and where you realized something you had to change in yourself or something in your family that you needed to address?
Yes, I never knew these two bosses were narcissists, and I'm talking like pathologic. But I didn't know what I was dealing with, so to your point, I'm researching this, I said, oh my gosh. And then I thought about friends that I've let go of, and yes, definitely family members, and more in the workplace and friends, and I thought, like the light bulb just started, the connections just started firing in my brain, like wow, and then I started having compassion, Lori, because the hallmark of narcissism, like the hallmark of autism, is often, if severely autistic, you have trouble, children or adults have trouble relating to people as people versus objects. They see the parts, not the whole. Well, as a parallel narcissist, they literally have no attachment to themselves.
Dara went on to read the first chapter in her book, many in the room reading along with her. As you can imagine, there were rave reviews.
She is so inspiring, and just the fact that she took her life experiences and was able to make this book that is so inclusive, and I'm so excited to read it.
I just felt that it was a real story. Even though it's fiction, I think that everybody, based on that first chapter, could relate to exactly what she was talking about. And it's intriguing. You want to go on to the next chapter. So I think it's going to be a very big success.